Right, so I've had enough of Louisiana and I left straight for Texas. So I'm out of Louisiana and out of their jurisdiction. I've just had enough. The weather's going to be bad, so I want to move south anyway. And I'm not enthused about going to Lake Charles because I don't think that appeals court will allow me to have oral arguments anyway. I requested it. I submitted my writ through their emergency email system, and I didn't get a response. It's been 4 days, so they don't seem to be very responsive, and I don't expect much response. It's not exactly clear if I'm in the jurisdiction of the appeals court. I asked ChatGPT about it because I don't believe a clerk automatically puts me in their jurisdiction when they file my writ. Okay, that's what happened, but that doesn't mean a judge actually is taking it up or anything. So, really, I'm still under the order from Judge Barber. Judge Brian Barber ordered me not to leave the state, and I'm in Texas. So I've violated my bond conditions. He could have doubled my bond conditions when I was out of state. I was given permission the first time. This time I have not been given permission. And I got my next hearing for the city court, hearing number 11 on the 28th. I don't intend to go. And I'm gonna ask for a continuance. It's not going to be filed. I'll email it, but I guess Judge Barber's not going to get it. But I'll email it just to go through the process, because I know that the city court's at least getting them. It's up to the city court to decide. It's up to Shanita Gostin to decide if my filing, I filed it, okay? I filed through email or writing it with pen and paper, which I've gotten a lot more skillful at with all the writing I've been doing to Natchitoches. And it's up to the clerk who to decide whether to file it or not. Judge Barber asked if it was filed. Well, he should be asking, is the city clerk doing her job? Okay. She was with Judge Ousley, and now she is not. She just says, she told me, she's just straight emailing what I emailed to her. She says she's just relaying it straight to Judge Barber, and pretty much he's considering that not being filed. Okay, so she's being lazy about the filings, not going through the process of I don't know, authenticating it however she does, and then sending it on to Judge Barber. She's just filing it directly to him, or she's just sending it directly to him, and it means nothing to him. So I'm guessing that as he accepts documents, because she's emailing what I write on with pen and paper, all right, it's the same process whether I write it on pen and paper or just straight email it. She's still emailing it over electronic means to Judge Barber, but the first thing he's looking for is that stamp from Shanita, the professional city clerk who started her job when Ousley was elected back in 2020, and she just doesn't file. Okay, so he's not counting it. And is it my fault? I mean, for them to change their mind, they go back and forth a lot with a lot of things on the rules and stuff, and they don't hold themselves accountable. And I've seen that too much. I mean, they don't take down the flag at night. They don't repair their building. It's a safety hazard. A lot of the rules and stuff, like the typo that Judge Ousley said when he says that he's officially approved of these court minutes. When he's off my case, he recused himself. he's just calling it, oh, it's just a typo, you know. But you Travis, you didn't give your name within 2 seconds, and you're the one who's the bad guy here. It's not the process that we're making all kinds of mistakes on. So they don't want to point the fingers at themselves at all. They don't have any faults. And there's just so much going on that's going against me. I mean, this library not only banned me, but as I was using the Wi-Fi, they finally decided to cut me off from it by doing this weird glitch that causes me to lose connection every 2 seconds. It happened on my tablet at first about noontime a few days ago, and then switched over to my phone. Took maybe 10-15 minutes, and then my phone started doing that. And it's been going on like that for a few days now. And that's an intentional glitch, because the city park has that same glitch. Then the yellow Wi-Fi, which is at a city building, that only turns on between like 10 and 3:30 maybe, where I'll just pick it up, and it's really good. I can upload a 10-minute video in 10 minutes. It's kind of fast. Not the strongest signal, but okay, especially at its peak. It like peaks out. It like turns on at 10, gets stronger till noon, and then just starts losing its strength till about 3 every day. I forget about weekends, but it's built into the operation of the Wi-Fi. They can manipulate it in so many ways. And for the longest time, the Natchitoches Library had the good connection. It was annoying to have to re-log in every 2 or 3 hours. Okay, and it's weird because you get connected, and then you're logged on for like the first 30 seconds, then it kicks you off, then you have to log on, and then you got 3 hours till it kicks you off again, and then you get the first 30 seconds that are good, and then it kicks you off, and then you gotta log on. It's weird how it's set up. That no other place does that, and I've never seen another place do that. The tech is being very creative. I mean, and cruel too. There's no need to even log on. There's no need to even block me. I never stepped foot on that library property, and they were probably hoping that I would just walk onto the property and ask them what's going on with this Wi-Fi, and I can't do that. I mean, that's, and because I'm banned for life, and it's enforced by Judge Dias, simply because I didn't try to sue fast enough. So the state encourages you to sue fast. You better sue fast, or you lose your privileges forever. You lose your voice forever. And that's the way it is with a lot of things. They'll mess your life up, okay, if you don't respond fast enough to their tyranny. But that's if you want to stick around, and I'm not. I tried as much as I could. I'm losing my $1,500 bond, and I'm not exactly gonna plead. I could say, I'll ask ChatGPT what I could do. Like, maybe I could just say I'm not contesting this anymore, and that's it. Just leave it at that. But you still have to show up for a court in person with them, unlike any other place pretty much that allows Zoom. And in Judge Dias's court, I missed it, but apparently she had a Zoom hearing with somebody who was remote, and she gave that person the consideration. I wasn't there because that security guard told me to get rid of my thumb drive, which he allowed in the first time, and then decided after I went to get a drink of water, and I brought all my stuff. I could have left my stuff in that courtroom, but there's no way I was going to do that. I wanted to keep my stuff with me at all times. So he checked it all over and decided that wasn't allowed. And yeah, I went to walk to my car, and that took a lot of time. And in that time, they were holding some kind of a hearing remotely over Zoom, and they left it up. And so I asked Judge Dias if this is being recorded on Zoom, if we're making a record of that. And she's like, no, we were doing a Zoom, and she said that, you know, that was for that. So then she just starts turning the TV off. It was a TV, you could see the Zoom pictures and all that. She just turned everything off, and then even closed her computer screen to show that, you know, she was really shutting down electronics. All those electronics, but I can't bring any. And it's just incredible. I mean, Kentucky was kind of bad, saying that I couldn't use my tablet in the courtroom, but you could still use it outside the courtroom. And they even offered Wi-Fi at that courthouse. They didn't have the stringent security measures. That's the thing. It's like, I hear judges talk about, oh, if we don't punish the offenders, the city could go run wild, and it'd be like in the Wild West days, where people could just go shoot each other and not have any worry about repercussions. But that's the perspective of the judge, thinking that you need to have all that law and order going on to keep a city civilized. And that, I mean, I visited a lot of cities, and I see the different levels of enforcement. And some cities I've been very impressed with, who seem to manage without heavy police presence. They actually self-regulate them. They self-regulate, self-regulating cities, just because it's just a culture of people who are just decent in nature anyway. I've seen it in some cities in Illinois, you know, the Manifest Destiny cities who moved west in the early 1800s for better lives. And they've established themselves as good people. Whether religion is a factor, I'm not sure. They're just decent people. And there's cities like that. And it probably drives judges crazy to think that there's cities out there that really don't need them, okay? And they try to impose, and a lot of these judges try to impose themselves, overimpose themselves, like on every level in Natchitoches and just Louisiana in general. They overimpose themselves, kind of like overprocessed food. They're overprocessed law enforcement, and with the measures, with the practice. And the DOJ comes in and looks around and says, yep, they're keeping people in jail too long. They're violating people's Fourth Amendment rights, because there's this overextension of the practices beyond what the federal government would normally allow. Well, what are they going to do about it? They're still going to allow Louisiana to put me back on the NCIC and try to make my life horrible again for not returning, because I don't intend to return. My civil case is over. I might try to appeal that. I want to learn more. I got 30 days. I want to file a motion for continuance with the city court, but I'm waiting on the response from the appeals court on my writ, and that was for the free lawyer thing. I can't get a fair trial. And their reasoning is crazy. Their security is just too intense. It just it took a lot out of me. I couldn't handle it anymore. I don't know how people do it. People really have to be ignorant to enjoy life there. You have to just be totally ignorant and just accept that you're going to spend 10 years of your life. Everybody in Louisiana is going to spend about 10 years of their life on average in jail, in and out, in some fashion, being accused of all kinds of nonsense. And that just doesn't happen. I mean, I compared laws between Texas and Louisiana, and you have to be arrested first. Texas Penal Code 3802 says that you pretty much have to be arrested first before you can be charged with failure to ID. Whereas in Louisiana, they just suspect you of a crime, and it could be anything. You just be suspicious. They're pushing it that much. That's where the State Patrol has gotten in trouble with the Department of Justice. They pushed it too far and just call you suspicious and demand your ID and arrest you over that. Texas doesn't do that. Texas doesn't walk up to you, say you're suspicious, demand your ID, then arrest you for your ID. Okay, that's just not a part of their law. So when I want to fight extradition from Texas, I would want to challenge that and have them compare the laws. I mean, ChatGPT and even Google Gemini, they've said that it doesn't matter how they compare the laws, even though I've read that somewhere. They say it doesn't matter. Extradition is in its own nature, apparently, with respecting each other's demands. But still, I would argue that the laws that Texas doesn't even honor that. But if they consider, if it's considered constitutional, which I would argue the DOJ has proven, has come back with a conclusion that Louisiana is not constitutional, but that's not exactly with my case. They're saying it's with the State Patrol, but on a lot of levels as well. And the DOJ didn't specifically look into my case, and I can't expect them to either. I would make that argument, but I mean, it sounds like it would fall on deaf ears the way the AI is talking to me. But I mean, I think it's got to have some weight. I mean, Louisiana, you go back to the Civil War. They want to go back to the French times before the Civil War, but I mean, a lot has happened between then and now. So it's just a culture full of evil people who just want to keep dragging each other down, stealing money. They're pretty much grifting off of the public with cruel and unusual methods. That's how they're keeping themselves afloat and getting federal money. That's what the DOJ needs to do, is really look at the federal dollars going into Louisiana. When you hear the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, say that California can get wildfire money on conditions, well, maybe Louisiana's getting conditions, so he's thinking of that because Louisiana is on conditions, and Louisiana needs even stricter conditions. All right, they're operating on conditions. They're getting grants on conditions already, but they're not strict enough, in my opinion. But I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to think about it. I got to think about West Milwaukee. It's more important to me to clear my name in Wisconsin than Louisiana. And I can't take it anymore. I'm kicked out of the library. It's the courthouse is made a more stringent camera policy, and there's just too much going on. I'm overwhelmed. The weather's going to get extremely cold in the next few days, and I don't want to be there. Apparently they got a warming shelter that's just opened up. Took a person to die, at least one person to die, in Alexandria for them to open up these warming shelters. But I'm aware of where it's at, but I think going further south works better for me. I can get through the high teens. It's a struggle. The low 20s start to become a bigger struggle. I really got to pile on insulation, and the low teens are a struggle, but at least it's overnight. It's not all day. So I'm going to stop this.